Hello, this is Kylie. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are having a great day and that you have a great week. And so we are continuing with the sex education lecture. We are on lecture two, and today we are specifically talking about the vaginal secretions. Last week we talked about um, the objective benefits of semen, looking at some of the compounds within semen. And then we talked about the psychic effects that semen can have on the women's brain. We talked about how semen can be an anti-aging tool, can give you more zinc, uh, vitamin B. So we talked about those things, and then we also got into how the nerve growth factor hormone that's in sperm affects a female's brain. And so we went through some research and whatnot. But this week we'll be talking about the objective benefits of the vaginal secretions. So this is of the divine feminine, and that's what we'll be talking about today. And so remember, this is a part of the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning for Black Americans. This has been something that I've been working on for 2 years, but was apprehensive of getting that content out. And so it took me up until last week to decide to do lectures on it. Like, I wanted to talk about it for a while. And so sex education is just quick lectures that we do on Friday, Freaky Friday for Black Americans. And we learn some things, we discuss some taboo things and things that the community needs to know about themselves in regards to their sexuality, self-acceptance, self-awareness, pleasure, how to establish boundaries in relationships, how to work through issues around sexuality, whether that be by yourself or with your partner. We talk about tantra. We talk about healing modalities of the divine feminine for women. So this is the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning, and I want to do these miniature lectures. So let's begin. So when it comes to the female vagina, and vaginal secretions in particular, women they emit three types of vaginal secretions. Believe it or not, it's not just one where we may, some people may think it's two. They think squirting is a a specific type of lubrication, and then lubrication itself. And that's pretty much it. But there is one more that I would like to talk about, and let's go in order though. First, we'll talk about lubrication, then transitate, and then uh, female ejaculation. And so, the first type of vaginal secretions that we are all pretty much familiar with is uh, lubrication. Now, that comes from the Bartholin gland. That's Bartholin. I would normally like to show notes and like have a formal presentation, but I don't have that today. And so you'll be happy to see my avatar picture, profile picture rather, and listen to my voice. But anyways, it comes from the Bartholin gland. This part, and it's when you're aroused, obviously. Now, the Bartholin gland, that's located near the vaginal opening, near the vaginal lips. That is where the fluid to produce lubrication happens. And obviously is meant to facilitate penetration and thrusting during intercourse, as well as in hormonal changes. When you experience a decline in estrogen after childbirth, or an increase in prolactin levels when you're breastfeeding, it can lead to less vaginal lubrication. Okay. And so Some women, they have issues with lubrication itself. They have the water based lubes and the oil based lubes for women that are producing lubrication even when they're supposed to be aroused, or even when they actually are aroused and they're not lubricating. And so they'll have to use the water based or oil based and whatnot. And so, you know, that could be something that's psychological, but it happens. I've heard of it before, and that's why lubricant has such, the lubricant online. I mean, or even in the stores, um, such a vast market for it. So it has to be some type of some sort of validity to uh, difficulties with female arousal for some women. But yeah, some women, they talk about WAP. Some of these women, they had the wettest, let them tell it. They have the wettest pussy in the world. It's so wet and so juicy. It's so, all this stuff that every woman claim. The stuff that's all in the rap music, whatever. But there's such a thing as of too much lubrication. I've heard of it. I've heard so many stories. I have heard of someone uh, being, you know, some men being turned off by super arousal, and I found that so strange because I'm like, you would think like a guy would be turned on by so much lubrication, but a woman actually told me this some years ago. She was like, he told me he was turned off because I was too wet. And I was like, what? She told me that. And I was like, I never had heard of that before. But apparently that's a thing too, where a guy can be turned off by of it being too wet. And I'm like, did he want it dry, or and maybe the thought of her wetness was a sign of like desperation. I wonder what that was about. Maybe he realized, she must really, really like me to be this aroused when I don't really like her. I wonder if that was the issue. I don't know. Um, I don't know, but she's like, yeah, we didn't end up doing it because of that. And I was like, what? That is crazy. But that's the thing. So a lot of the women's, they love to brag about how wet their vaginas is. Hopefully you don't run into that guy. But yes, that is the first secretion of the female genitalia. The divine feminine is lubrication. And the next one we have is transudate. Okay, so transudate is is another form of arousal. It's a mixture of fluids actually. So this is um a mixture of liquid. It's the scientific term is called cyprine. Okay, and cyprine hasn't really been classified yet as anything in the science world. They haven't come to any agreement on what this liquid is. You know, because I don't think they really know where it comes from. Actually, yeah, they don't. They think it either comes from the Bartholin glass or the vaginal transudate, and the cyprine is an ingredient of it. And so that's just also the transudate comes from female excitement. Okay, and it does it's like when your blood vessels constrict, when the blood vessels swell in a vagina, that's when you get vaginal transudation, when the blood vessels swell in the vagina. It could be due to arousal, but it also um it's when the blood vessels swell. And so the next liquid of the vaginal secretions that we have is the female ejaculation. Now, this one um, has fascinated a lot of people, over the years, and it's like a fluid that is composed of vaginal secretions and urine. So it's not fully pee though. even though some people think that, most people are educated. I think I mean, from what I know now, it seems like most people are educated that squirt is not pee. But at one point, people did think that it was pee, like women were peeing. But it's not. It is a discharge during climax. It's pressure buildup, and so it is a mixture of the transudate, the lubrication uh, with the urine, plus a unknown substance in some cases. So it's not cyprine. It's like literally an unknown substance that nobody knows about. You know, that's very interesting. That is very interesting. And you know, they had this what's this porn? I don't watch porn anymore, but I used to watch porn. And some of the things, like they have these different genres, and squirting was always one of it was always one of the big, you know, genres to research when you go to the porn hubs or whatever. And I'm not promoting pornography. I stopped watching porn. I'm not here to judge anybody else's decision on what they do. With with their business, that's your business. But for me, I just stopped watching porn for very personal reasons. But I'm not gonna lie, I was curious about that genre myself, the squirting genre. And you people can judge me or whatever. It was interesting. And a lot of times women want to know how to do it themselves. So though you don't necessarily learn from porn, but you have sex experts, and you have they have these workshops that you can do. Actually, I don't know if you guys remember, HBO used to have a show called Real Sex. Now, anybody that remember back in the day, I got a good ass memory. In Buffalo, New York, HBO used to be a part of the uh Adelphia cable package. It was Channel 5. Anybody can confirm this. In 1996, 97, 98. In 1996, 1997, 1998, HBO was Channel 5, and it was freely available, part of the. You didn't have to have the digital. Remember, we used to call it digital cable. Like, it was Adelphia. That's when you had like all this access to the other channels, the hundreds and hundreds of other channels. Um, I remember having basic cable, and HBO was Channel 5 in Buffalo, New York in 1997, 1998. And Real Sex used to come on at around what, 12, 1 a.m. Yeah, 12 a.m., 1 a.m. And whose beady eyes used to sneak and turn. I was flipping through the channel one day. Actually, a show used to come called Happily Ever After on HBO. I don't know if you guys remember. They had a lot of Black American themes and Happily Ever After. And it was a cartoon show for kids or whatever. That used to come on HBO, and I used to watch that. And so I happened, as a little ass kid, unbeknownst to me, of flipping through the basic cable in my room that had basic cable television, and we landed. I remember it was Channel 5, and I'm thinking I'm gonna see Happily Ever After the cartoon, but it's 12 1 a.m. 12 1 a.m. and I'm turning on Channel 5. And it wasn't like I was looking for it. Like, I was literally hoping to see Happily fucking Ever After, the cartoon. And next thing you know, I'm seeing titties, pussies, penises. And I'm like, what is going on with it? As a little kid, I'm looking like, what the fuck is this? Like, sometimes I wonder, like, you just have these existential, ontological thoughts when I reflect on that. Like, why was, as a little ass kid, was I able to just turn on basic cable and just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 go at a certain time at night and just see Real Sex? You guys remember the show? Matter of fact, let me see if I can Google something about it. Let's see if I can Google Real Sex, HBO. This was a whole show. Okay, I found the show that I'm talking about. Here's the show that I'm talking about. This show from 1990 to 2009. So it talked about current trends in sexuality, street interviews, but they used to actually have the scenarios. I can't play nothing of the show, obviously. Come on. So graphic. But this show used to come on and it's to show you, them talking about squirting. I remember clear as day thinking, like, what in the world have I have jumped on? It was terrible. Nonetheless, you know, they have these topics of sexuality that you can find even in a setting of where you're trying to actually learn how to do the squirting. They have those avenues as well as actual workshops that you can attend with your partner or by yourself to learn how to do the squirting. Or like sometimes some of the porn stars try to teach other girls how to do it. I remember Angelina Joe, not Angelina. It's one of them porn stars' names. It's Jolly though. It's not Jolie like the actress. It's Angelina Jolly. Like it's like a play on the actor's name, but that was her name. And yeah, she man, she knows how to squirt on command. I mean that may be a little alarming to some people. Some people have conspiracy around that. You weren't beta MK, were you? You weren't beta MK. Um, so some people may, that's neither near here and there, but yeah, those are the various types of vaginal secretions. Now, I want to talk about like some of the benefits of vaginal secretions if you are to digest them. Obviously, when people are doing oral fixation, was it cunnilingus or whatever, um, you end up digesting, vaginal secretion. So, for those that are into those practices, I want to talk about how those vaginal fluids can actually prevent heart disease and cancer. Okay. So, according to the research that was done at State University of New York, they they had like they did this experiment and they found out that the vaginal fluids keep you safer from heart diseases and some forms of cancer. That was their conclusion. Okay. And the reason why it does that is because it acts on the hormones DHEA and oxytocin, sorry, and are usually released during intercourse, even in more. So it's DHEA and oxytocin. And those hormones prevent heart disease and cancer. Okay. So if you're eating the vaginal fluid, you're acquiring the hormones DHEA and oxytocin, and they keep you safe. Another thing within the vaginal fluids is sometimes the probiotics. There are probiotics that you can ingest from the vaginal secretion as well. Another benefit is mood elevation. Okay, mood elevation, and it is due to the probiotic content in it is in the vaginal secretions, and um, it so that's how it elevates a person's mood. And so I found that damn interesting. And so when we talk about like the female orgasm and the female secretions, for the female body, the vagina is the seat of our consciousness. Okay. And so the body's main nerve system that goes from the vagina and into the spine and directly up the brain, 8,000 of those nerves endings from that area are in the clitoris alone. So 8,000 nerves are found in the clitoris alone. Okay. And that, again, that's connected to the body main nerve systems that go from the clitoris. The 8,000 nerves from the clitoris is linked to the back of in the spine and directly up to the brain. Okay. And so that's why, when we talk about tantra and various sex magics, that's why it's so effective, because this is the energy that goes from the nerve ending of the vagina clitoris up and up into the spine, up into the brain. And this is all, when we talk about sexual transmutation, which is a form of manifesting through the act of the orgasm itself. A lot of women do that by themselves, or they do it with their spouse, because they know the potency of the vaginal secretions. They know that it can increase those hormones that elevate the mood, that feel good, uh, that prevent heart disease and cancer. They know the benefits, even like how last week we talked about the benefits of semen. There are benefits to the vaginal secretion. Okay. And so people work with those energies, with the energy of the orgasm itself, that spark of that creative energy. And if the females by themselves, obviously of the divine feminine, that rawness from the divine feminine, or if you were a partner, the union and the complementation of that spark of creative life energy at the onslaught of um, an ejaculation and a vaginal orgasm. Um, that's powerful energy to work with for your higher self. And so some females, they will think of the things that when they're having the orgasm, they would think of some of the things they want to manifest or things they want to see, and that it's a big, like, radio. It's like an amplifier. The orgasm is the amplifier to the actual intention, which is associated with this pleasure, and the likelihood, the better likelihood of being in the actual present, the surrender to the thing that you want to manifest, or to the universe rather, to the energy, releasing yourself to that propels it faster, believe it or not. It pushes more energy in it at the point of climax. And that's why, you know, these women, they'll think of what they want at the orgasm, whether it be a new house, something they want to do, something they want to manifest. It could be whatever. It could be anything. It could be even more love, more spiritual prosperity, more joy, whatever. Could you be, you don't have to be all elaborate. Like, but some people do for cars, a new house, a new car, and they think about this shit as their orgasm. It's very old practice. It's nothing new. It's been found for thousands and thousands of years. It's very esoteric. There's Buddhist tantric thought. There's the Eastern tantric thought, more from the Shakti school of thought. You have the right hand path, left hand path, Varmachara, but we're talking more so of the East perspective, not the West. Tantra sex obviously been found in various parts of West Africa and Egypt as well. And so it's nothing new. This idea of sex magic, uh, when Westerners got a hold of it, it becomes like a taboo thing. It becomes sinister, because then, people started getting into SRA, misinterpreting ancient texts and not understanding them, and engaging in very debaucherous will you acts. But nonetheless, the vaginal secretions are very, very, very important. When we talk about the transmutation is one example of how you can apply it to uh, your orgasm, to your actual vagina. When we talk about transmutation and alchemy, like, people ask, well, how do I do that? What can I do? What can I? This is one way. This is a little more advanced. It's a little more advanced because preferably you would like to have a conceptual understanding of the philosophy behind sex magic or tantra, or you're going to have a conceptual working knowledge of it. You know, if you are at the beginner level, then um, if someone was interested, and perhaps you would start small with during your orgasm, you would think of something that you would want in the spirit of moment, uh, that you know is for your highest self. It could be you could do something simple, do something real simple that you, and start there. If you don't feel like you want to go and read some information about it or learn anything else about it on conceptually, that would be fine. And so again, when the energy behind the orgasm, that raw creative energy, especially a female orgasm, the female especially, and a lot of men use women's vaginas for sex magic, even without their knowledge. Men in the occult, men that are in secret societies, they know exactly the power of the vagina. They don't want you to know, and so a lot of them, they'll have sacred prostitutes, or they'll have women that they ejaculate loads into for manifestation, for their manifestation, and they'll use the female orgasm for that. Sometimes, if the guy is a righteous male, he could uh, propel back that energy for something that she needs. Like in his mind, he could think, I need to infuse you with more productivity. I need to infuse you with more love. I need to infuse you with more whatever. And he can pump back that energy into her, because he gains considerably more from the female vagina than the other way around, whether they want to admit that or not. It is what it is. And um, so he gains, and he can pump back things. Most men, unfortunately, they are not thinking about that. It has to be like a high level man, hopefully a husband or somebody that you tell them, like, I need this type of energy, and as you're fucking me, I need you to be thinking in your head that you infusing me, at least for the first couple of strokes or something. I need you to be thinking of infusing me with some of your productivity, because theoretically you would be fusing uh, your energy with someone, hopefully with someone that that have characteristics that you want, characteristics that you could benefit from, not in a covetous way, or not in a jealous way where you're trying to take and harvest energy from someone like a vampire, but more so from um, this is your reservoir of the energy of a characteristic that I like, and we can swap that, and we'll have more. You can transmute that as sexual transmutation. It works. It's very powerful. People do it astrally. I don't want to get into that. It's a little woo woo for some people, but yeah, you can. It's not transfer where you're just giving all of your energy away, but it's like, okay, I will infuse you with some productivity, and you're gonna infuse me with the energy that whatever that person may need. That it could be some of your happiness, some of your joy, and and you're fusing it back, and all energy is borrowed and has to be paid back, and all energy is getting expended, um, and it's recycling, so you'll get the energy back. Especially if you guys love one another. Now, again, people practice dark sex magic. People will prey on people that they know got something that they want and fuck them into submission. And I mean, obviously, we know how deep it can go, how you can fragment people's minds to even control them through sex. So it's very deep. And so the females' lubrication, the females' vaginal secretions become so powerful and so potent, for males and for yourself. Even if, say, you're celibate, it's still you. I mean, when people say celibate, do that mean they're not playing with themselves? I don't know. I always thought that was included in celibacy. So and maybe I'm wrong on that. But even if you're by yourself and you are doing the celibacy, you know, you still want to become very acquainted with your vaginal secretions, I mean, it gets deep. I'm not trying to tell people what to do, but some women they'll put their vaginal secretions in some of their ritual work through it could be candle magic. They'll layer it with candle magic. It's a lot of things you can do with vaginal secretion, in addition to just digesting or and just enjoying it. And men notice, like sometimes men, they'll get the lubrications all on their penis, and while you're not looking, they go in the bathroom. You think they're washing off. They taking a napkin and they wiping their penis off with the napkin to get the vaginal secretions on, and they put it in the Ziploc motherfucking bag. Okay, they put it in the Ziploc bag, and they're using it in their damn ritual, candle magic ritual. Black men's, all types of men's, white men's, all types of men's are doing this to women. You better believe it. You better believe it. That's why some of y'all be like, I think he bewitched me. I can't get over the dick. I can't. The dick is so good. I don't know what he did. What he did. He done took your vaginal secretions and done did some binding shit on you. Or if you had something he liked, like you got more light, he tried to probably swipe some of your spiritual credit onto him with some of them vaginal fluids. Okay, so you have to just you have to take preventative measures against someone using your liquids and DNA, and vaginal secretions in those ways. You can obviously do protection around that and call your DNA. If you suspect that this happened back to you, you call back and cancel out or cancel out anything that they were trying to do with those vaginal secretions. Okay, and you have to be careful who you sleep with, of course. But a lot of times, the men ain't thinking all of that. We talking about some of them, believe it or not, some of your high level men's, your high level businessmen's, the high level, the bankers, these CEOs, they be doing that shit. They the ones that be on game because they know, because they do rituals. They plan stuff with the they do all types of shit, how they gonna release a product and a numerology behind a product. And I mean, come on, we know all of the logos. Let's be real. I mean, even if we look at Apple with the bit in Apple, Apple represents your Taurus field, your electromagnetic Taurus field. When you cut open the apple, you eat from the tree of good and knowledge, quote unquote. And that's your initiation into understanding duality, be able to take a unit of consciousness in the universe and condense it into an individual unit in the 3D dimension. You can go from density to density and understand contrast. That's the way of knowing good and evil. Now you developing your own electromagnetic field. Now you got your own electromagnetic field that you can program to actually create a whole another entire universe if you know what the fuck you're doing. That's what that apple stood. That's the app. That's the esoteric reason. That's the esoteric meaning behind the apple. It's really a Taurus field. It's related to your Merkaba. That's what that apple. And they put that right on Steve Jobs with the Apple product that y'all love so much. I go spend thousands and thousands of dollars for the Apple, with the what's it called, iPad, AirPad, and shit like that. Yeah, that's what Steve Jobs knew. His initiation into duality, his initiation to the understanding of his electromagnetic field. I think he was able to create Apple and build it to where it was at. Initiation to the divine feminine. Is that energy, those chemicals is filled with the divine feminine, your Taurus field. Steve Jobs knew this shit. And so that's why he was in India and studying Buddhism and Hindu. He was all into these, because this is how you get that knowledge. It's all melanated science. Is just it ends up in different spaces of the world at various times based on travel migration. But yeah, you look at the Tesla logo, clear as day. It's a vagina, uterus. The was it the Ram Dodge. Shell is always associated with the vagina and see the divine feminine. Always, 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 always. You always see stuff about Venus. What's the other one? Tesla's another. Oh, Starbucks is an obvious one. Spirits of the Marine Kingdom. Well, I think that's the Orisha. That may be Yemaya on as a Starbucks logo, but it's also the Divine Feminine. They're working with the some of the Marine Kingdom queens. Okay, and so I mean I could go on and on. It's so many logos that's not even funny. Okay, is really not even funny. And then all the other logos are symbols for masonry. So, you know, a lot of these CEOs, they know about the divine feminine. They utilize that energy. They find women of a certain intelligence, a certain modicum, certain decorum, pedigree, and they utilize that woman's energy, and they do want to know that woman's bloodline and her prana. So those men, they are taught to assess prana. Some of them study how to see auras. I'm pretty sure Steve Jobs in his privacy, y'all probably don't know, but Steve Jobs was most likely studying information about prana and chi just based on what he was studying, period, and just how the logo that he used shows so much about what he know. I mean, why else would he name? Because you got to figure, in addition to the Taurus Merkaba being, being a part of your electromagnetic field while you're in a physical body, it's also initiation to a simulation within the simulation, the sacred geometry behind the Merkaba, these tetrahedrons, and the quantum code which is inside every which is inside um, the Merkaba itself, the binary code, the computer. It's a highly it's this is what this apple, this biting into the Eve and Adam and Eve, that's what that represents. That's what you were supposed to crack and find and actually just know as humans. But no, y'all really just went left with the religious dogma. But whatever. But that was something that y'all was supposed to get the memo. Again, they redacted the Bible. They took 44 books out, changed shit, they misinterpreted all types of shit. So, I'm sure that explanation was given at one point, but like I said, I think, certain societies, secret societies, certain organizations that wanted that information hidden just took it for themselves so that they can understand how to work with prana and chi, how to raise their own prana and chi, how to control their own electromagnetic field, how to even control that of others, um, that wanted that science for them. But it all relates back to the divine feminine. And we know apples, and you cut open that apple and look at it looks just like a toroidal Taurus field, the Taurus field. That's how your electromagnetic system looks. So that's that when you cut it open, you know. Um, and so that's that. But again, those are the type of men that are already on game and that will take your vaginal secretions and use it for their benefit, hopefully for yours. But if you got a man that's trying to come up in the markets or off in business, and they know you got a lot of prana in your vagina area, in your sacral chakra area, or they gonna gun for that gold mine. It's a gold mine to them. And if you are stupid and unaware and dumb about the divine feminine and don't know what your vagina is, then it's going to be easy. They'll take. They can actually swipe their karma inside your vagina, and they go up, 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 and you go down, down, down in your life. Start losing your job. Start your hair start falling out. Your pussy starts stinking. All types of crazy shit start happening to you. You lose your job and all that stuff, and then they gain he calling you though, he talking to you, and he getting new positions and new offers and new deals and new contracts and new different types of advancements and awards, and your ass is just losing, and you wondering what the fuck is going on. And then you find out this nigga is a part of some Dawn society or something, or the Order of the Golden Dawn and all this shit, or whatever it is. Whatever the organization. I'm not trying to throw no dig at them. I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving a damn example. I don't even know if they still exist or not. That's just the one that always comes up when we and when you're studying some of this information. But and you wondering what the hell. You have a wizard on your hands, a warlock, and some of these men, they don't have to have any training initiation. They just do it just off of the strength of being able to nag your ass and take energy, because some of them are already natural born energy vampire parasite niggas anyways. They don't even have to go to no mystery school to misuse magic and call it AKA dark magic. um and so, you have to be careful of that, ladies. And there's so many, there are some things that you can. I want to cover that. Let's see if I can cover that. For and I'm just had a topic come in my head, and I want to give some resources on it, so at least you ladies have some information or to increase lubrication. Okay. I just wanted to at least be able to give you ladies some aphrodisiacs and some herbs if you want to have some more lubrications down there. If you need more, and this also increases the libido, so it boosts the sex drive. Some of the things I'm going to name, and so the first one will ginseng. That's a pretty widely available one that will increase the lubrication. Maca. Maca is very good with hormonal imbalance. I took maca for a year, and I want to say in the year of 2015 to 2016, possibly getting in 2017. And it's a very hard. Is maca a root, or is maca root, right? Or is it an herb? It's an edible. It's a plant. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have ever heard of maca, but it's MACA. Very high iodine content. It is essential for um, balancing out sex hormones, in particular maca. So it has high zinc levels, okay, and it supports the women's hormone balance more so than the males. Maca root works better in females than males, just like how saw palmetto works better in men than women. Okay, so it's not just you have some plants that are for the females, some plants for the male, and you can switch them up, of course, but you won't get. I'm just saying that they're maximized for certain hormones specifically, and so maca it does better for the female. It helps with infertility, it boosts libido, and it balances the hormone levels, and the secretion, vaginal secretion. And when I took maca, man, I'm telling you, it was hard. Like, how do I explain this? It's because it's a qualitative feel that I'm feeling, that I'm trying to explain, but I don't have the words to explain it. So I keep saying hard, but it wasn't hard. Like, I drunk it every day for a year. So that's not the expression that I want to give. It was turbulent on the body. That's the energy that I'm trying to say. It was turbulent on the body. I took it every day. I had no problem. I actually enjoyed the taste of it. But when it's working on balancing out that hormonal shit, you'll feel it. Like, you could feel it. It's hard on it. It's like, and I never had that experience before. I never had that experience with a root. I hope I'll just say herb. I had never had that experience, and it was just, you felt that shit working, and things were improving in the hormonal area. I'm telling you, it was working, but you felt that shit. You felt it every time I would take it. I'm like, ooh, it would just be a whole nother energy. You could just feel like something just pounding away. Like, it was weird, but it was only with maca that had ever happened. Did chlorophyll kind of do not? No, chlorophyll don't do that. I take chlorophyll every day. Is it spirulina? Spirulina is another one. No, it's not spirulina. Chlorella. That's what it is. I just want to make sure I get the name right. Yeah, that chlorella. That's another one that, for me, it may not be for you, but for me, that's another one that just it's turbulent on the body. It's turbulent. It's like, you have to stop taking it because it just so hard. For me, and maybe I was taking too much. I don't know. But maca does that. So, um, you know, you have that. You have ashwagandha. Ashwagandha. It reduces swelling, and it relaxes the mind, obviously, and it has been used as an aphrodisiac for thousands of years. Obviously in India. Okay. and it increases sexual desire. Believe it or not, it increases um the satisfaction, and I guess that's due to the blood flow, perhaps. But they actually studied this. This is like science backed. It was they tested it only on 50 women though, but I mean it's better than nothing. Fenugreek, that's one for the divine feminine as well. That boosts sexual desire, and it boosts your arousal, and it has for men and women. Yeah, fenugreek is powerful. It also it grow the shit out of your hair too. I've been taking fenugreek for a, a year now, every day, every single day. I do fenugreek, and it does wonders for the hair, and it has that reputation for growing hair. Like we always knew fenugreek will grow your hair, but like no, that shit really does work. um, yep. And then we have Damiana. That's Damiana. That boosts libido, and it boosts blood flow to the vagina area. Okay, and that's like a flower. And then we have, surprisingly, Ginkgo biloba, which to me, Ginkgo biloba, I take that every day, and that calms me. I never really use that for arousal because I take it in the morning, and so for me, that's more of like clarity. Like that's more like that's like for clarity. I don't know, but um, supposedly you can use that for sexual desire and also increasing blood flow to the vaginal area. And it's been used as an aphrodisiac, believe it or not. It has been in some cultures. It also helps with menopause, obviously. It does help with menopause. Then we have Shatavari, which is known as Queen of the Herbs. It's kind of like a asparagus. Okay, it's a species of asparagus. Shatavari, Shatavari. And that is also an aphrodisiac, and it increases the hormone prolactin. Okay, Shatavari. That one is good for hair as well, I believe. Then we have saffron, expensive ass saffron. I used to take saffron, but that was for I didn't take it for sex. I think I always knew that this was um a good spice for sex, but it's also good for anxiety, needing to be calm. It's very powerful for mood regulation, um, skin. The skin as well. It's very good for the skin. It's very good for mood regulation, but it's very expensive. Like genuine, real saffron is quite expensive, unfortunately. And so that is one though that is definitely always been used as an aphrodisiac, and that it increases sex drive. It does. We have suma root. Suma is Brazilian ginseng. Okay. Wild yam is traditionally a aphrodisiac for the female. It's an excellent woman's herb, believe it or not. It really is. This increases sexual desire, and it's anti-spasmodic, and it's good for the reproductive system. Wild yam. Cordyceps. Okay. And this is for also good for menopause as well and boosting sexual desire. Cordyceps. That's Cordyceps. Okay. And then we have black cohosh. And cohosh is spelled in it Cohosh. And so that contains estrogens, which mimics the effects of real estrogen in the body. Okay, and so once again, black cohosh for women that experience a menopause, hot flashes, and night sweats. And also is good for managing erratic periods, and then also easing the uterine tension. If when you're cramping, and eases the uterine tension, but guess what? It can stimulate menstrual bleeding. Okay, so if you're one that's trying to bring on, oh, I want my period. Some women, they want their period. Is again, women use their blood to do their period blood to do ritual, or whatever they may need it for, or they want their period to come because they had sex, didn't have the chance to get Plan B or whatever, they took the Plan B, and they waiting to get their period. Um, Black cohosh is good to stimulate to bringing on of the period. Okay, it increases it coming faster. And I wanted to say something else about that black cohosh. Well, I think that's it. I think that's good. But again, it's good for menopause. Again, the night sweats, hot flashes, and that's researched. That's from a scientific study as well that was done. And so black cohosh is also called black bug bane, because maybe if you type in black cohosh, you might see black bug bane, black snake root, rattle top, or fairy candle, and it's a part of a flowering plant. Okay. And it's native to North America and Central Georgia. This is shit you go. I mean, I know y'all know. I know we heard of black cohosh. I mean, I heard of growing up, but it's Central Georgia and Western Missouri and Arkansas. So this is native. This is a North American plant. So Black Americans, you ought to be jumping on getting you some black cohosh, females. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And these are things that relates to the libido and lubrications by proxy. And so I hope you guys got something out of this. I did. Um, Again, this material is not new. It's something that I've literally had this material prepared a year ago. It just took me some time to build up the courage to actually take on this topic, as far as sex and family planning for Black Americans. It was like, okay, when am I actually going to produce content that I had that already got lined up and that I want to talk about. And so next week we'll be talking about wound management and some herbs along that line. They did this huge crackdown on YouTube with the mentioning of like herbs and Ayurveda and vitamins and associating them with, or, I mean, making certain claims about their use on a medicinal level, or you know, um, just if you say it cures or something like that. So they did a huge major crackdown. So I have to be very careful when we do the wound management topic. But we, uh, you know, it is this big uproar about like the abortion stuff that they're doing with the bans with Roe versus Wade or some shit like that out there, and that they trying to overturn or whatever. And I don't. To me, I feel like the stuff around reproductive rights and reproduction itself, and uh, women's power to give birth and to destroy. I think that should be left up to women. I don't know, something off. I feel like we've been practicing wound management for thousands and thousands of years as women, and we never needed no government to uh, tell us how to, or to regulate how we get abortions done. When for thousands and thousands of years we just always knew what kind of herbs to use to as birth control. There are herbs that are just as powerful as Plan B. There are herbs that will monitor, that will keep you infertile until you want to be fertile again. That they're infesticide, which means that they are effective birth control herbs that's been around for tens of thousands of years. And so women knew about those things in the past, and we had our elders and we had our midwives and our doulas. Like, we knew these things of how to control our own wounds. If we make a mistake, let somebody none of you, you know which herbs to take, that's just as effective as the Plan B. Okay. And so I don't think that that's the right of the government, or that's the issue of the government, to monitor Black women's reproductive um, choices. I just don't. And again, I have my personal opinion on it based on my bloodline and based on my creeds and the things that I know. But I don't have no judgment about what some other women want to do with the life that's in their body. You know, they just had the fresh and fit dude tell his girl he don't want the baby. He told her to get the abortion. So a lot of you Black men, that was a Black man's doing that. Y'all love to talk about something. We need all these babies. We need more babies. We need more babies. But as soon as the woman get pregnant, you paying for the abortion willingly. You telling her to get rid of the baby. You know how many friends I've had tell me that they guy told them to get rid of the baby. They not ready. Men telling the Black woman to go get an abortion. As much as y'all want to sit up there and say, oh, the Black woman is getting all these abortions, the Black woman is doing all this, and never talking about how I know for a fact that there are men asking these women to go and get an abortion and paying for it. But my thing is, the state really don't have, to me, I just don't feel like that's the role of the government to try to suppress information regarding natural remedies around child birth control and around abortion. There's herbs that will cause abortion. It's just a fact. If you are already pregnant and carrying, there are herbs that will cause spontaneous abortion in humans. It's just a fact. It's been done for thousands of years, and women been knowing if whether it be their own motherfucking choice or whether it be from some nigga asking them to go get an abortion. They knew to go get some herbs, or what herbs to take, and go to grandma. Oh, I got pregnant and I don't want the baby. And grandma gonna make them a herbal concoction of motherfucking drink. Make sure the bleeding is controlled. Know the dosage of what to do to push the damn, to push it out. Whatever, you keep it moving. That's what we always done in the past. It's always been a woman's business. It's not men's business. It's not politics business. It's not the government's fucking business. That is midwifery business. That is spiritual priestesses business. That is Black women's business. And other women's who in their respective culture and ethnicity. I'm a Black woman. Obviously, I'm talking for Black Americans, but if you're a white woman, whatever, that's not the government's role to be trying to dictate you going to take their conventional weird ass abortion where they scraping you out and all this shit. That's not their right to do that. We know what herbs to do. It's that's a communal thing, but for women, not for men. Not for men. That is not you life and death. You would get bad. You don't birth the baby through this portal or the 3D, 4D, 5D realm. You don't birth the baby through the portal. The vessel. The woman is. So it's not under your domain to decide what herb she's going to take or what herb she can get access to. They hid those herbs from. They don't. Black women don't know the average herbs that can cause like literally to the tune of 90%. Some of these herbs is 96% infanticide, which means birth control. Like they've been hiding this shit because they want you to take their shit or go and get your ass scraped out with some metal contraption thing. That's crazy as hell. That's under the domain of women. Women should be able to go to the elders and elder women in our community when they get pregnant and if they want an abortion, or if the guy say, "Oh, I'm not ready," or if they don't even want nobody to know. They don't either. Obviously, it can even be with SA. The woman gets great, you know. Um, that can also be a avenue, but that's for Black Americans, because the Black Americans are the ones that don't like you know, the abortion laws, but they use abortion the most. My thing is, Black women, y'all, we need to stop depending on that shit, because that medicine and let me stop because I ain't trying to get on a radar. I'm already on a radar enough. But like that shit, like no, ladies, like we got our own herbs, we got our own calendars, we got our own digital monitors of fertility to monitor when our essence is fertile. We got herbs that we can suppress our fertility. We got our own things, and there's birth control for men too, and herbs, natural herbs for men for birth control for males. Males they have birth control too. I don't know what the hell they running around thinking that, and if they was smart, they would use that them damn herbs too for birth control. Sure would. The male species would use that If they, let me take this every day, and it's already blood purifiers and blood. We talking about herbs that purify the blood, anti-inflammatory, all types of shit. You might as well take it every motherfucking day. And no, I'm purposely not saying the herbs in this video because we're covering that content next week. But yeah, it's all types of shit. It's all types of stuff we can use. I don't understand all this freaking out. I'm offended that male presidents and male government, like most of the people in government are males and shit. Like I'm offended that they think they can even have a say on that shit and giving us some weird ass poisonous medicines and poisonous crazy ass procedures for abortions and Planned Parenthoods everywhere and all that weird shit. No, that's not how it works. That's why we had the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning, because that's stuff for women to decide, but we have to do it the natural way. You can't depend on the government to look after you because all they're gonna do is find out a way to set up some new shit over your head, just like with the Planned Parenthood shit. And we can do better than that. We can do our own centers. Why it has to be fucking Planned Parenthood? We can do the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning, where at least we're not promoting promiscuity. We're not promoting alternative lifestyles unless if you already in that shit, that's your business. But we're not promoting black women going to get no abortion, but we do promote black women practicing womb management. This is your pussy. This is your womb. This is your vessel. So hell yeah, we'll teach you the herbs and the sciences, ancient sciences and herbs of how to prevent, to manage your birth control. Herbal birth control. Things that can cause, if you need a plan B, herbs that are just like a plan B, herbs that can cause spontaneous abortion, as well as you saw me giving you the herbs for increasing of the libido. Increasing of fenugreek also increases lactation and breast milk. Okay, we give you herbs for it to increase your fertility. It's not just gonna get one or the other. But if you need herbs to increase your fertility, that's the thing too. But the thing is, most of the black people don't have a problem with fertility issues. So we're gonna give the information out for those that are, because you've got a lot of black women with the PCOS, so they're gonna need that information as well. So in addition to us doing, 1 week we're doing the womb management, the next week we're doing for fertility, for the sexual health and family planning. Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning. So it's not about trying to promote an agenda. It's about what does the community need, what information could be beneficial to them for their own personal lives, and they go from there with the information and use it for their benefit. We done got into some sex magic. I done low key gave y'all some damn rituals if you've been paying the fucking attention to do with your vaginal secretions. I told you to combine it with your candle magic. I told you to a bit of sex magic through the female orgasm. I told you how to I done gave some game for your asses. So now you gotta go and see what you gonna do. How you gonna apply it? You gonna squirt more? You gonna lubricate more? What the fuck you gonna do? you gonna apply it. You gonna use some candle magic. You put the lubrications on the candle and do your manifestations. Who knows? But yes, these, next week I can't wait to talk about it because I got a lot to say about that conversation they want Black Americans consumed in about abortions and was it Roe versus Wade? That shit ain't got nothing to do with us. We should have been doing our own. We should have been doing our own uh womb management. We should have a Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning for Black Americans by Nakhti University on every street corner for Black Americans, promoting family planning, not no motherfucking go and get no abortion. If that happens, it happens. But also, if you need to go and you trying to what's to do in vitro and what's the other one? Tantra healing, sexual healing, yoni massage, lingam massage. The latest research in sexuality that's critical. What else? Sexual, things relating to relationships as well, keeping people together, marriage counseling, all types of shit for people, to take advantage of. We need a marriage counselor in every center Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning Center. We need a marriage counselor, sexpert that talks about how the actual sexpert, uh, and a sacred sex priestess, a sacred priestess. They don't have to be a sex priestess, but a priestess. I'm going to give you the spiritual game and a midwife, and what else? Midwife. What else we need in there? Obviously, some doctors, some trained doctors. Yeah, yeah, midwife, trained doctor, priestess, sexpert. Um, what was the first one we mentioned? Yeah, midwife, sexpert. We need all that shit. We need maybe OBGYN. I don't know, maybe OBGYN. But again, I'm not sold into conventional mainstream medicine. I'm not knocking it because I've seen some cool things with it, but it to me, I'm like most of the shit that you could find, it's in a herb. Like no, like most of the things that you need to help your ass. To me, um, that's just me. I don't judge what the people do, but we need this Center for Sexual and Family Planning because they've been pushing their own shit all on our community, and they push it hard. Now imagine if our people didn't sell out because it was black leaders, quote unquote, that was saying that Planned Parenthood was be good for our community in the 70s and all that shit. So the smooth the fuck out. Was it Jesse Jackson was one of them? And so people, what happened if he hadn't endorsed Planned Parenthood, Jesse Jackson? I think it was L. Sharpton too. I mean, I don't want to put that jacket on L. Sharpton if he didn't do that, but I know it was Jesse Jackson. It was a couple. It was black pastors that promoted Planned Parenthood. That when its first conception, when they started discussing where they was going to put that shit, they had meetings with the power brokers of the black community. Where they were going to put the Planned Parenthood. It was very strategic. Don't be. I mean, yeah, white people did this and da da da. It was black people that opened the gate to have that shit in our community, and that's why we're doing a whole new agenda for the Black American because that's fucking ridiculous. That's why any black people that be doing that shit still in 2024 is getting the frame tore out their ass because the sins of the father is not falling on these children. The bullshit and by that's an analogy, meaning that the bullshit that these fucking elders did to screw us over and they buried our own people. When we talk about like the Congressional Black Caucus and these black politicians and all that shit, they fucked us over and they did it raw and they don't give a fuck. They got their bag. And so these niggas is old as shit. And so there's a new vanguard being ushered in, but we not about to let in a bunch of a baby fucking Clarence Thomas's baby elder Larry Elders and all this shit. Like that's not what the fuck we doing. Where you sign every time you or baby Congressional Black Caucus, where the youth is the next they ready to sign to get a deal or to take some money and sell the community out. No, that's not what we doing this time around. That's not what we ever did. And so when you see these, this backlash that them elders be getting, that's why. It was. I remember. You can look this up yourself. There are documentaries talking about how Planned Parenthood got disseminated throughout Black America. It's well known that it was the black pastors involved with it and black politicians and these quote unquote black rights. They try to make it seem like, oh, we won't have access to abortion. Everything they do that's detrimental to us, they try to frame it as a fucking inequality issue, so that it's a reverse psychology method to make you want it even more, just like they did with what's with the crime bill. They pushed that shit. They had black people push that shit, just so you know. Y'all do know that. And they made it seem like, see, this is what's gonna be good for you, what's gonna be good for you. They do that shit all the time. They did that when they were saying, oh, black Americans won't get access to the jibby jab. Remember with the pandemic, they're like, oh, they need to be the first ones to get it. And that's when we was like, fuck no, keep that reverse psychology. We weren't stupid enough. Nobody was stupid enough to fall for that bullshit. Now, when they said that, Black Americans went on alert in 2022 when they talking about we need to be the first ones to get the jibby jab because we are the first ones to face inequality. Get the fuck out of here. But they've been doing that type of method for a long time, and Planned Parenthood was that same method that they use. They need to be the first ones to get abortion because they're going to face inequality with getting an abortion. And then Black Americans like, oh, we're going to face inequality? And it's 60s, and then you got 70s, and then you got these weirdo ass Jesse Jacksons and weird old motherfuckers that's jealous of Martin Luther King and lined him to fuck up to sacrifice him. Yeah, let's talk about it. They got these jealous ass niggas take out real leaders so that they can be propped up as controlled opposition leaders and lead our community to that fucking burning house. Talking about, yeah, we need these abortion clinics. We need Planned Parenthood. We need Planned Parenthood. And people was going along with that shit. Then what? Now what? Now we talking about, now we find out that it is the actual front for eugenics with Margaret Sanger. We already know what Margaret Sanger, all she said. We don't even need to go through all that shit. We already know. Okay, so now it's a Planned Parenthood on every motherfucking block. It's not a Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning by Nakhti University. That's a motherfucking problem. Okay, and so we don't have to go through that avenue. We can take as a community, we can take our own control over our womb management, and that means birth control management, management for fertility. Okay, that's some shit we can do on our motherfucking own. We don't need Planned Parenthood for that. That's just common sense. Well, maybe not. Again, forgive me for my delivery. Okay, I don't always say things the correct way, but my intentions are good, or else I wouldn't be sitting here giving free game like this, like I've been doing for years for Black Americans, if my intentions weren't pure. And so my delivery needs some work. I can admit that, but I don't mean no harm. I really don't. So you got your herbs. We'll be back next week with this topic. We'll see where it goes. We run out of topics. Sex. Can you ever really run out of topics though when you're discussing sex? I remember that show, Candy Coated Nights. Man, I wish that show came back on. It might be different now. I mean, it's been so many years, but when Candy Coated Nights, man, when that show was out, boy, oh, that was my show. It used to come on every Wednesdays on Ustream. That's when Ustream was popping. The show was on Ustream. It wasn't even on. And then she had her own Candy Coated TV network. But I ain't gonna hold you. I feel like Ty just ruined that show. And this is no disrespect to Candy, but or to the show itself. But it seemed like when he started producing it, it just had this commercial vibe. Like it just the rawness was missing. The rawness was missing. And they had Nikki 08 and DJ A1 on that show every week, and they would have a guest and they would talk about sex in a very unadulterated, very unedited, very raw way. And it was brilliant concept, incredibly juicy. People loved it. But I think they were trying to get the show shot for a major network, and maybe that's why it had to be so sanitized. But it was too sanitized. When she put it on her network, the Candy Coated, and I remember still. I think that she was offering subscription, or I remember watching the damn series. I remember watching the whole season, and I just remember thinking, why is it so sanitized? It was nothing like how it was on Ustream. I mean, Ustream was the day you could really say some shit on that Ustream. You could get away with talking some shit on that damn Ustream and saying whatever the fuck you want. You probably can't do that now. Is Ustream even still around? Let me see. Is Ustream even still a damn round? It looks like they're called Planeta now. Is Ustream.tv? They're part of the IBM bite them out, or did Ustream was always under IBM? What happened to Ustream? Let's see. Okay, so on January 2016, IBM acquired Ustream for $450 million. Oh, okay. So what did they do? So they still pretty much do the same thing. It's just not as popping, as the YouTube, because YouTube took off and YouTube allowed you to make longer videos. But Candy Coated Nights was on Ustream. And boy, they used to have like some real good celebrities on there and ask them anything, and you would see a side of the celebrity that you didn't know exists. They would ask them the most craziest, obnoxious questions like, "Do you eat ass? What's your freak number from 1 to 10?" And but I remember I was right front and center. I was right. I was an undergrad. Oh man, I remember before I used to do my I used to go to the school library. Before I do my homework, go on Ustream on Wednesdays. We'll wait for that motherfucking show, or usually I would catch it on Thursdays after it aired. And I remember I would go in to do whatever homework I needed to do and be watching damn Candy Coated Nights. And that's what I was doing, boy. And that show, I was like, wow. And I had always wanted to attend that show, but I wasn't in Atlanta at the time. But like I would have loved to, because used to be able like to just walk into Tags Boutique and just you know first come first serve, I'm sure, but you could just watch the show as it's going live. Like people used to show up, and things had changed when it went on the network. But like we need stuff like that again. I wonder if she'll ever. But please keep it raw. I hope she bring that show back up. But please keep it real raw and uncut. Like nothing produced to produce, because DJ A1 and Nikki Nicole, they was they actually they did really good with them roles. I ain't gonna hold you. They did really good as co-hosts. They really did. Of course, Candy did good, but I'm saying like they can hold the show. They can hold the audience, and that's real talent. You don't need all this scripting and this overproduced. It became too overproduced, and then you can't say what the hell you want to say and how you want to say it, and be the freak that you want to be, and share what you want to. Nah. Mm-mm. Yeah, but Candy Coated Nights, that show was the shit. I know y'all remember when. Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about that. I'm just get out of it. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Okay, you guys have a great weekend and enjoy your night. Talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.